Welcome back to the Social Hotelier with me, Sam-Erik Ruttmann. Back in the late 90s, I met Niels Steeman in Bangkok. He was a sharp marketing manager for inbound travel operators, and I was hustling to get more travelers to stay at the hotel I managed. So that's how we kept in touch during my time in Bangkok. But fast forward, we have been connected on LinkedIn and we kind of lost touch, but our paths crossed again very differently because Niels has transformed his life, shifting from tourism executive to wellness coach, helping people to live healthier and more balanced lives. So in this episode with Niels, we'll talk about habits, human behavior, and why health is the foundation of success, both in business and life. So if you're curious about change, mindset, and making it all work, this is a story you want to hear. So welcome, Niels. Good to see you again, and thanks for joining this episode.
Thank you so much for your invitation, Sam-Erik. It's been a long time indeed. Thank you for the kind words. And I can only confirm what you said. It's been a challenging period. Yes, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I'm interested in hearing your story because I know you from the time when we were in Bangkok, living a kind of a stressful life, trying to hustle for the tourism business. But you have described the big change that you have gone through, that you're not as not the person you used to be. So I'm curious now, Niels, what was your personal tipping point that demanded a transformation? What happened in you? And then you say, no, this is enough.
It's a very good question, Sam-Erik. And the tipping point started probably around 2016, 2017, that most of the money which I was initially planning to spend on my retirement went into medical bills because I thought I was sick. You know, you went regularly to hospitals, palpitations, headaches, well, you name it. I felt there was something wrong with me. But in the end, it came back always to the same thing. It was always the same thing that came back. It was that mindset that there was something wrong with me that I needed to address. And I spent searching for solutions, not only in, let's say, the medicinal world, you know, the ones that you're going to the hospital and get another battery of lotions, medicines, and pills, but also the alternative ways. And actually nothing worked with me. Various shocking experiences in my life, including committing suicide, trying to, has resulted in 2018 to decide that this is enough. And I've decided to not only work on my physical health, because I was very overweight, obese. I had a serious drinking problem. And I wanted to camouflage this by just looking only for success. Work was everything for me. Some people have said that I was like if people know it here in Asia, 7-Eleven is open 24 hours. No, that actually was me. I was always available, going out, entertaining clients, and to make sure that the business is thriving. But in the end, what you want is sometimes not what your body can handle. And I've learned it the hard way. So in 2018, I made a complete drastic change. This resulted in loss of more than 40 kilos, stopped drinking, and completely committed why health is the true wealth and not in monetary sense of the word.
Yeah, I have had issues about overweight most of my life, and I was conscious about it. And then you kind of find a tip that help you. And also, when I was young, I was smoking, and it took me some radical mindset change from one day to another to stop. But what was that in your situation? You're talking about some very dramatic changes in your life.
Correct.
Because you were drinking, you were going out, entertaining clients, and so on. What was the thing that motivated you then to make that change, or how was it actually? How did that change happen from one day to another, or was it a gradual process for you?
It happened during a scuba diving incident, because sometimes it can be gradual. Sometimes people take that 1% better every day to become that better person. And in other situations, like with me, it was actually building up to an explosion. I always compare it to yourself. You have a bucket, and every time you drop a drop of water in it, and you don't know until the bucket is full, until one drop, and then everything flows over. And for me, that happened during a scuba diving incident where I get a panic attack at probably it was around 18 meters deep. My friend, who was a scuba diving instructor, saved my life. And at the moment I arrived back home, completely in a daze, it actually started by slamming the door so hard that I broke a window of my apartment and saying, "This is enough."
Yeah.
From that moment on, I started to study, what do I need to do? And it's not only food and nutrition and alcohol and movement, because I've started to realize that it's an holistic approach. Now, I'm not really a fan of the word holistic. It's like a whole list of things which you need to attack for, but it's only the tip of the iceberg. And I need to go deeper than the iceberg. I need to go below the surface and see what is going on there. And that has transformed my life in so many positive ways, that going back to that old self where status, allure, money, promotions, 18 hours a week, and show that as being a status symbol of being something, hey, I'm working hard, is no longer on my agenda.
No. The guidance you received, because that could be quite challenging to get that, or do it on your own. Who helped you, and how did you find that right person that you could trust to guide you?
It took me 9 months to figure out, one, what I needed, but also most important, and it is just you hit the nail on the head, who I needed. Who did I need to make sure that my life is changing? So during those 9 months, I've been to various clubs, organizations who are focusing on well-being, be it meditation, yoga, exercise. And for me, and that is actually also a human connection we're having, if you have that feeling of 20% in the first 20 seconds that it clicks, that gut feeling saying, this is it, this is when I went for it. And those people have been helping me to date still. They are still my coaches. And not all of them. I've made a few changes here and there, but I'm still relying on people who keep me on the right track, who are my accountability buddies, because I need to only help myself to be accountable, but also have somebody else outside of me who have that same environment, that feeling of, hey, we are interested in the same topic, just to get me on the right path. Because we are never, ever 100% on the right path, but you always need somebody just to get you back on that path. Yeah, and that since 2018, that has been an amazing journey, an ongoing journey. But I'm very proud that these few people I still have are in my life and helping me whenever I need to.
Yeah, but you said you have reduced your body weight by 40 kilos. That's a substantial
In 10
change.
months.
I mean,
in 10 months.
And in 10 months, I mean, that's, I mean, I know when I was young, I was trying to do all these Atkins, I think it was Atkins diet, where you don't eat any carbohydrates and you could reduce your weight, but then you drank a lot of water and so on.
Yeah.
What did you do?
I approach it from a different perspective.
Yeah.
And the reason why is the danger in diets, that they're all short term.
Yeah.
Those things which you're trying to do in losing weight and choosing a diet is never a substantial. There's no consistency in this one. People going from Speedo season, or they want to wear that wedding dress, which they've done before, and they said, I want to squeeze into this one. And when you look at all the diets in general, they have all one thing in common. And that one thing in common is that they always omit something that you should not be eating. Like what you say with the Atkins, no carbs. This is the same as the keto diet. Take an omnivore and a carnivore diet, or a vegan where you're saying no meat. So when you look at all the diets and putting that all together, you actually cannot eat anything anymore, because there was always a diet saying, okay, yeah, I can't eat it anymore. So if we approach dieting from that perspective, we're always losing. Yeah, because there is just no ideal diet.
Yeah.
So what I've done is I've gone into the study of how our body actually uses energy to produce. So you're going in so-called calorie deficits. And diets are not always the solution, because diets have a certain amount of calories sometimes prescribed in this one, but your body doesn't actually know what a calorie is. It is an invention. It is something that is being cooked up in a factory based on very strict conditions. But how your body absorbs what you take in is based on how your body feels. And that can be lack of sleep, stress, and we have no idea how to count it because there's food everywhere. So what I've done is I have started with something called, it is my own desire to see how far I can go with so-called IF, intermittent fasting. And intermittent fastings it's also called restricted feeding windows, where you are only consuming certain foods within a certain period. And you start, of course, with skipping food, skipping breakfast, skipping lunch and breakfast. And at the top of my, let's say I'm still doing it, I sometimes don't eat for 3 days. And that really makes sure that I understand how the body actually works and how it uses the material you're having, being dead cells, be it excess fat, as a resource. And that is actually the tip of the iceberg of what I've tried. That was actually the thing that I said, okay, this is the tip of the iceberg where I want to go, but I want to go deeper. I want to go again below the water, below the surface, to see how far I can go.
Yeah.
And I switched it around, and I still ate pizza. I still ate hamburgers. I did not stop this one. And yet I lost it. And I felt great. No more headaches, no more anxiety attacks, no more depression. Blood levels, my blood pressure went down. My cholesterol levels went down, but it's a whole different story. So LDL, HDL, triglycerides all went down because I still accepted that life is to be lived and food has to be enjoyed, especially with those who are among you and don't have the same goal.
Yeah. Do you ever feel that because you with your friends that you were meeting your friends, were they supportive, or they kind of looked at you? Well, let's go have a drink together. Why not have one drink or something like that?
Yeah.
Was that an issue that you had?
Yeah, absolutely. There are friends who basically, let's just say, abandoned me because they say, "Oh, Niels was always open for a drink," but I haven't touched a glass of alcohol now in almost 7 years.
Yeah.
And if that is their choice, that is okay. I
Yeah.
don't mind. I have no problem because it's my life. And some of them, they've come back, some of them, they understand. But you also will find new friends and a new community who is supporting you in the choices you're making. And if your goal is to be that person, then sometimes you have to change your environment, an environment that supports you to get where you wanted to go for.
Yeah. I'm just thinking that, particularly in our industry, in hospitality and travel industry, we are there are some kind of like-minded in the way that we are high performers, we are pushing ourselves, and also we tend not to talk about health. Why do you think high performers ignore their health until it's too late? I mean, this is you're looking at yourself as maybe one of those examples of what happened to you, but how do you in general see when you have now gone into coaching, where they're now seeking your help? What's your observation on this?
You're looking at things differently, Sam-Erik, and I think that you touch a very good question right over here, because I do believe that in our industry, and like you said before, entertainment, long hours, especially in the hotel industry, the word passionate is raised quite often, but I don't use the word passion, because if you don't do something with passion, you should not do it at all. We live in an industry right now where, especially after the industrial industry, where speed is of the essence, and whether we have technology at our place and more data to analyze to ensure that we are on the right track, that has changed dramatically. We're not going more into an evolution. We're having reached a revolution on how the human mind and body needs to perform according to, let's say, today's societal standards. That is simply asking too much from us. When you look at the body, the evolution as itself, we're coming from thousands and thousands of years of development. And IT and the technology and the way that we're being pushed right now with strategic planning, performance, making sure that we're not anymore needed to be contacting and replying whatever messages within 5 or 10 minutes. Otherwise, you get a follow-up and saying, hey, where are you right now? This is an industrial change that we have to accept, and our body cannot handle this one. So sometimes we're scrambling around and we don't even actually know what we're doing that actually lead us to that goal, whether it's performance, whether it's more revenue, whether it's a better RevPAR, or your ADR needs to go up, because there are now so many different choices. A couple of years ago, the big word big data was being a trend, and I do believe that that is still lingering on, because we want to look from every angle to have that leading edge. And this is where we as humanity have failed to see that we're still having a body to work with, which is a process of thousands of years to work with. So that's why I'm very much into understanding that we have to be sometimes taking a step back to understand that if we fight our body, we will always lose. But yeah, ownerships, as well, Sam-Erik, from your time, stakeholders, ownerships, they want to see results. And when the industry is changing, they want to see installed results even quicker.
Yes. Yes. So, well, now your life has changed and dramatically, if I say so, and you have devoted your life now for coaching, for helping each other, helping others. So, can you talk about a little about that? How you went about becoming a coach from being a marketing manager for the tour operation firm?
Well, I'm still doing marketing for a tour operator because I love the
Okay.
industry. They're still over there, but it's the time I spent with the coaching is just becoming my, how can I say it? It's a little bit, I'm a little bit very, sometimes going a little bit overboard with this one, but I do believe that the myths in the world about nutrition, performance, balance, health need to be addressed. In 2018, when I started that change in my life, I actually went two times, 3 times a week. I went to the gym, and the rest was all done by myself. I have my own accountability buddies, but I also held myself accountable for what I was doing. I really started to feel that, how can I make people better? I've taken so much in these 20 years as a business professional and just demanding and doing things that I said, I've taken enough. It's time to give back. And that coaching has been part of my process to help people to understand that putting a pair of running shoes on and not eating a hamburger or having a beer on a Saturday is not what really changes your mind, because I'm maybe a best living example of this one.
Yeah.
So I'm still have taken courses. I'm currently working on a course in regards to sleep, stress, and recovery management. I'm a certified nutrition coach. I'm a certified personal fitness trainer. I'm a performance coach. And I feel that we as a market deserve to know what the real truth is behind true wellness. That is my mission. And this mission I've been going through my coaching, the Thrive approach, to help people not fall in the same pitfalls as I have. And I don't want to do that, because I don't think that anyone deserves that one, unless they are aware and have the knowledge and skills to go on and live a better and healthier life.
Yeah. Now you have done by doing this coaching, you may have noticed, and I'm sure you noticed what kind of reaction you're getting with the people you're coaching. What blind spots do executives have when it comes to personal wellness, and how do you help them to uncover them? Because you had to go through it yourself.
Yeah.
So just explain a little bit how about maybe not the process, but also the kind of revelation that you have seen in other people and what blind spots they may have.
It's a brilliant question, and it's very individual. So your blind spot cannot be my blind spot. So blind spots are very individual, because that's why sometimes also diets don't work, because everybody has their own individual needs and how they've been raised. So I've set up a questionnaire, an online questionnaire, whenever I'm onboarding a client or want to have a free consultation talk with them. And these questions are connecting dots. That means I can see when I get those answers in play, I can connect the dots and see where I'm going. People don't understand that taking in calories, this is an example, for example, is not only about food, but it's also about what you drink. And if you see in a hotel restaurant, for example, orange juice coming out of a big container, then I start to cringe because nobody knows that it's actually loaded with sugar, which is not beneficial. There are still a lot of conflict information about, I need to eat every single 2 to 3 hours to get my metabolism flowing. Yeah, maybe, but it's not how our body is working. And if people want to lose weight, one of the major reasons of starting this journey is putting on running shoes.
Yeah.
And you're actually burning calories, but you're not burning fat. And most of the people want to burn fat. I think, Sam-Erik, I think you have the same thing, right?
Sure.
If you want to lose weight, you want to lose fat and not calories. And there's a lot of things also in relation to weightlifting. People still think that if you're getting under a bar belt or you're getting heavy kettlebells in front of you, that they're starting to be muscling up. And that's actually not true. There's now so many studies in relation to certain exercises benefiting not only a so-called your office syndrome, that people starting to hunch forward or they're sitting too long, that certain exercises can benefit not only feeling better, but also in getting a little bit more mobility. We're sitting more. So, and our body has so many muscles and bones that we need to move. We're built to move. But if people are still thinking that they can sit 6 hours and feel great after having filled in a new spreadsheet, then I started to knock on doors and said, let's change the game.
Yeah, absolutely. You
Those
talked
are a
about,
few. Those are a few ones, or Sam-Erik. There are quite a few more, but it's.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I'm interested now, of course, is about though you mentioned about the coaches who shaped your journey. I don't know, was it 3 coaches or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
What did each one reveal that the others couldn't? I mean, just interested. What perspective did they give you?
It's a very good thing. It's the way that they explain certain things. And what you see is that one of the coaches, which I hold extremely dear to my heart, he has been able to start with processes in my life that actually didn't go around nutrition and movement first, even though he's a personal fitness trainer. He took it from a whole different level. And I start to realize that is actually the gateway for me as a person to go where I wanted to go. This was complemented by somebody else saying, hey, but you have something also up there in your head called a brain, which you need to understand and to comprehend. And he took it from that perspective. And then again, you start to connect the dots. Why is this working? But you see as well that it's coming from another part. And now they merge together. And lastly, and she is still a very good friend of mine, she looked at time management, performance. How do I deal with people? Because I also sometimes had to learn to deal with people anymore because I've been so frustrated that what I wanted to achieve in the business world, I needed to come back and saying, Niels, you're also a person who is kind, loving, caring. And that helped as well to get that process. So in fact, if you look at all these 3 persons, they started from not movement, not nutrition. They started from where I was at that moment and where I needed to put my focus on. And that was absolutely not with movement and with nutrition. And that is the way when you start to learn and understand the people's habits, beliefs, systems, where they are right now and where we can start building up to make those changes. That is where the secret of coaching is because you have it in you. You just have to fuel that a little bit so to make it more acceptable also in your life.
Yeah, interesting. You dealt with people who are in leadership positions and so on. How has your view of leadership evolved through this transformation from managing destinations to mentoring lives? Because that could be something interesting to learn. You're thinking about that.
Yeah. I believe that everybody has the human right to grow and evolve. It's not that if you choose to be comfortable in your own position where you are and you feel that is the right thing, feel free to go ahead. If you feel that you want to stay on that couch and watching Netflix until 2 o'clock in the morning, that's okay. But if people start to feel that they go to the hospital, that they don't feel well, that their stomach aches and so on, and they want to make that decision to change, they are the ones who take that step. I'm not taking that any step. So leadership starts from yourself. In order to understand where your weaknesses and flaws are, then you can start to grow. But you have to accept that nobody is perfect, and perfection simply does not exist. So if you think about leadership, and the way that I'm coaching my team as well, is you have to try to know what the outcome will be. And I'm a big believer of the SMART principles, and I think you know it as well. You have to be specific and measurable. But I want to put the ER behind there, smarter, because you have to evaluate what you've been doing and then repeat if it's successful, because SMART has a certain limitation. It's going from point A to point B. But you have to reveal what you have been evaluating and see if it really connects back to you and make yourself better. And that is also what we're in this life again, Sam-Erik. I'm trying to limit my digital marketing and online social media as much as I can, because I know it doesn't benefit me. We're just so inundated with information that I'm taking leadership and saying, it's better for me just to work on myself, be it breathing, be it sleep, before I'm going and block time off to go on the digital marketing. Our brain is not wired for what we're actually doing.
Yeah,
and that's just the way it is. So leadership starts from yourself, and leadership is not only from me, but it's also from my clients, but it's also for those who I'm working with. And even our mate, she has a leadership position, and she contributes as much to the success of me as a person as what she does and as I do for my whole team. So I believe that always in the leadership that everybody's equal, but everybody has their own mindset to achieve, and we can learn so much from each other that I sometimes ask a trainee and saying, can you help me? You have to accept that there is no perfection in that one, and you just have to accept that somebody else knows more than you do. It's the way it is. It's the way it is.
Yeah, perfection is an illusion, as we call it.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. You've written a book, I understand. So tell me about what prompted you to sit down and put this all into between two hardcovers.
It took me 1.5 years to write my book. My book is called Thrive. Once you start clarity on what you want to achieve and also what you want to educate, I found that over those last 25 years, I found a lot of gaps in my life. I could not connect or reallocate certain aspects of my thoughts, and I said I needed to jot them down. And once you start to realize that you're not performing to your maximum, even though you want to achieve that higher purpose, be it new business card or another upgrade on your frequent flyer, is you start to lose what is actually life is all about. And what I've seen is that when I wrote my book, things started to fall into place. My book is about all those years from the moment I started in Thailand, and that was in February 1998, until I made the change to change my life. I've described things and situations in my life that nobody knew about, not even my family. And of course, they were shocked, but it was time just to put it in paper. And in the end, what I've done is I've taken a few things which are essential in what I've seen in my clients and where I've seen major changes in the way that the clients have been improving their life and their wellness and their well-being. I'm taking a few tips and put them into this book. This book is available on Amazon, or reach out to me directly. What I also decided is that all my proceedings, every single dollar, I'll give to charity. So all the bought books for the same price, I give it straight away to a project in Ranong, where children with physical and mental disabilities who are falling out of the system are able to provide medication, support, but also learning what health is really about. So they do organic gardening. The children learn what money is, how to make a living. And it's an NGO. And so far I've been able to support a few children for a couple of months with medication, be it oxygen, and I will continue to do so. I don't want to make any money off this book.
Very good. I mean, there are several NGOs and charities in Thailand. Any particular reason you chose this particular one? Was that something that you felt particularly compassionate about to help?
The message they brought forward was that it's not only accommodating children in need. It is also a project that where the owners are educating. They're giving money for children who do not have the chance to go to school, growing up from a very young age and go to university. I was very touched by their message, the way that they're presenting that message themselves. And for me, this whole education part is become such a crucial aspect in a world where we think that we can learn everything from YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. And that's not the case, because there's just so much conflicting information.
Yeah.
And how these people have set up this system was very touched. I was very moved by it, and I'm very grateful that I've been able to visit them and donate a lot of the money which I made from the book over to them, and just spend time with children who deserve so much and such a better life. And that's the reason why I want to give back again. I've taken too much, Sam-Erik, in the last 20 years. I want to give back. It's enough.
Yeah, since you're staying in hotels, you probably run into some general manager, and if those general managers would implement your wellness philosophy, that would change. What would change in the guest experience, or would that change anything?
Sam-Erik, you're touching a very sensitive topic. I don't want to make any enemies at this moment.
No names.
Post-COVID, we've seen a lot of rise in so-called wellness packages. People wanted to escape, sometimes there are four walls, not being able to go out. And they, of course, have the full right to offer something that people are going to unwind. But wellness is more than just a stay. Wellness is more than just a pillow menu or a gym with a yoga mat. And of course, some hotels have go onto that trend and putting yoga mats, for example, right now in the room. Wellness starts from yourself. And an escape to a hotel where, say, wellness is being offered in a 3-day package is actually not wellness at all. I gave the example of fruit juices in restaurants. It's one of the worst things you actually can do when you see big containers of plastic containers and being pulled over into a nice glass container and saying, hey, here you go. And we think it's still healthy. But science and we have proven already that's not. What I really am I'm very against as well against digital clocks in bedrooms. Our eyes are very sensitive when we're trying to sleep. The best way we can sleep is actually in complete darkness. And if I see then a digital clock in a bedroom, then I'm going, no, sorry, I throw it out.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Spa is great. And I know it's bringing for a lot of hoteliers, it's a lot of revenue because, your room prices are sometimes the same as 1 hour of spa treatment. So that is also something which, of course, working. But it's not wellness. It is not wellness. The biggest thing which I've seen, especially when you're in hotel, is that the wellness is being explored as a client-facing solution. That the hotel is offering a solution just to have a short escape. Where hoteliers need to really focus in on is their staff. Because these people make long hours, some of them working shifts. People are standing on high heels for 5-6 hours. If a hotel promotes wellness, start from within. Start with your team. Because if they look well and they feel well, the message can be brought out very much more forward. Long hours, entertainment. As well, Sam-Erik, that entertainment was a big part of your job, but also for my job, just to go out and eat and drink and be merry, just to get that business, to build up that network. But how can you be at 6 o'clock in the morning the following day being fresh and daisy after a full day or a full evening out? This is a challenging thing.
Yeah.
So I do believe that hoteliers should not only market the wellness in an accurate way, but make sure that the staff understands that they can perform much better when they are feeling well and they're feeling really cared for. And most of the hotel staff, they have no idea what it is to work with ultradian circles, break times, flow states, the law of Parkinson's, Pomodoro timing, which are all scientifically proven techniques to make you feel much better, get more done in less time. It's the way it is.
Yeah, yeah. Now, curiously, now I think those observations were excellent, and I can totally relate to this. I mean, in Thailand and also in Asia, I saw that general managers tend to be very visible in the lobby and in public. Not so much here in Europe. I don't know what they're doing. Are they behind closed doors in the offices or checking how many clicks they get on social media and so on?
Yeah.
I really missed that part of the industry where the general managers are spending time in public, and also that could mean that the staff, and they're an example for the staff.
Yeah.
But have you noticed, is there a change in Asia now where you don't see general managers as much anymore, or is it something that was part of the analog era that I was part of?
I think you touch a very good point, because I don't see any changes. And I think it's also the trend. I firmly believe is that data is ruling the hospitality industry. There's now so many software programs where you can look into click rates, click-through rates, like you said before, your likes on your social media, but also reviews on TripAdvisor. I know a few hoteliers, general managers have in their contract that they need to reply personally to every single TripAdvisor. And of course, since mobile and everything is now so within reach of anyone's client, that there constantly needs to be that speed, that agility, that constant being on par of everything. And that is something that may not be beneficial for the wellness of not only the GM, as you said yourself, but you said it very, very well. You need to set an example for your staff. Because if you do it, then your staff will also go behind the computer and saying, "Hey, I need to check my rates. What is the competitor doing? Are they dropping the rate? Do we have a 3+2 or an early bird?" It reflects how you are as a leader, and I think that is something that really can change. Sam-Erik, I think you were always in the lobby, as far as I know, but there are a few legendary hotels across Asia, maybe in Asia as well, where that run beautifully because the GM was always on the floor. He was always looking around, talking with guests, and make sure that he is pushing the clients and also pushing his own staff to deliver beyond expectations.
Well, yeah, that was kind of a mode that I was brought up with, and I felt that was the only right thing to do. Because initially I didn't have a computer in the office, so there was no point of being there, and too many meetings didn't accomplish much. So I thought, well, let me spend the time where I feel more useful of spending it with the guest and the staff, and that's what I enjoy doing. But that was a time, and I still enjoy talking about those things, because I feel that hasn't changed. It's still the staff will look up to you more and learn more from you if you are visible with them, not through a memo or a Teams call or whatnot, just to feel they have the presence. What do you see?
Sorry, Erik, to add one more thing. This is also health, connecting with people, socializing, being among. And that is, of course, that distance is growing right now with technology as well. If we're on a Zoom or a Teams call, we're not anymore that interchange. Our hormones will not work in our benefit if we have this screen in front of us. So if we are talking in person, serotonin hormones are going through the roof. So make sure that personal attachment is also benefiting the well-being and well-being, because you can read the people's body. You can read what is saying, or something that is not said, something says more than enough. And that is something when you do in person. So that's why in the hotel industry, and what you said as well, Sam-Erik, it's so true. Be there for not only for your guests, but also be there for your team, because this personal connection is health as well.
Very good, Niels. I think this has been a great discussion. And finally, I want to just, if you could, for the audience, that people who want to reach out to you and exchange and contact you for their needs, how can they find you, and what are the best ways to reach out to you?
Great. My best way is via LinkedIn. So it's Niels Steeman. I will have a company called thriveapproach.asia, which is my website where I post regularly news and newsletters about the myths about wealth, balance, performance, exercise. For me, I'm always on LinkedIn, so feel free to reach out to me via LinkedIn. That is for me the best channel. Happy to always talk for free with anyone who needs a little bit of an assurance that whether they're on the right track or they may need some changes to either shed some weight, get a little bit more moving going on, and seeing that motivation is never a constant. Always happy to drop a call or meet in person when you're in Bangkok.
Very good, Niels. Thank you very much. I appreciate you to join today's episode, and thanks for all the fantastic insight. And I learned quite a bit about you during this hour, so it was a great way to have this opportunity to bring you into this episode.
My thanks, my gratitude goes to you, Sam-Erik, for allowing me to talk here. I think it's an amazing thing what you're doing with the Social Hotelier Show, combining things that are more than passionate for you, but also to give me the chance to explain why wealth is the true wealth.
Thank you for tuning in to the Social Hotelier. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to leave us a review, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. We have an incredible lineup of guests coming up your way, so stay tuned for more thought-provoking conversations, and I'll make sure I'll put in where you can find Niels' book. So if you are interested to read about the book, and his contact details will be on the YouTube description, also on the podcast description. So until next time, take care and keep exploring.